You know that feeling when you get a small idea and it just sticks with you? It starts as this little flicker of curiosity, but then before you know it, it's grown into this massive, multi-year project. Well, today we're diving into the amazing story of how that exact process can unfold, and even better, how you can start to map your own creative journey. I mean, this is the big question, right? For any of us, artists, entrepreneurs, researchers, you name it. How do you take that initial spark and not just keep it alive, but actually organize it and grow it for the long haul without getting totally lost in all the complexity? That's the challenge we're going to unpack today. All right, so our story follows a thinker named Oliver Ding who went on this incredible 6-year intellectual adventure. And the amazing thing is, it didn't start with some grand master plan. Nope. It all started with just one single powerful concept that basically turned the key and unlocked a whole universe of ideas. And here it is. This is the word that kicked the whole thing off back in March 2019, curativity. It's such a simple but really profound idea. Think about it. We are just bombarded with information all the time. Curativity is about deliberately gathering up all those scattered pieces and giving them some kind of shape, some meaning, by putting them inside a container. That container could be a book, a project, or even a new theory. The real beauty of this idea is just how simple it is. You can see it right here. You've got these scattered blue dots, those are the pieces, and then you have the green circle, that's the container. It swoops in, gathers them up, and transforms them into a single coherent whole. This super simple model for making meaning out of chaos, well, that was the launching pad for a 6-year journey. But as you can probably guess, over several years, that one simple idea just exploded. It blossomed into dozens of projects, articles, and totally new theories. Suddenly, that initial concept wasn't quite enough to hold it all. To navigate this growing world of ideas, our explorer needed a map. And here it is. Now, I know this might look a little complicated, but just think of it as a personal GPS for a massive creative project. This whole thing is called the Landscape of Evolving Knowledge Enterprise, and it was built to visually organize all of these interconnected ideas. It's a way to see, just at a glance, how everything fits together. It's a pretty fascinating artifact from the journey, isn't it? So how do we make sense of that big, complex map? Well, it actually breaks down into 3 really essential parts. First, you've got the thinking part. That's your mental platform, your ideas and frameworks. Then there's the doing part, the social networks you're a part of, the actual projects you're working on. And finally, the making part, the real tangible stuff you create, like diagrams or books. Thinking, doing, making. That's the heart of the map. You know, no explorer really makes a journey alone. They always have guides. And on an intellectual quest like this one, those guides are often the great thinkers who came before. In this case, inspiration came from 2 really influential psychologists who basically provided the compass for the map. So, let's meet these guides. First, Howard Gruber. He gave us this idea of a network of enterprises, which means seeing creative work not as one straight line, but as this web of interconnected projects. Then there's Robert Keegan, who gave us the concept of the evolving self, showing how our own understanding grows through these distinct, predictable stages. These 2 ideas, absolutely crucial. And this is where it gets really cool. By applying Keegan's theory of development, the entire 6-year journey could be plotted out across these stages. It started as a single point, just one project. Then it grew into a durable category. From there, it started connecting different categories. Then it became a whole complex system. And finally, it evolved into a creative enterprise that's bigger than any single system. You can literally watch the idea grow up. So, after 6 years of this deep work, it was time to step back and reflect. A new project called Wonder and Wander was started just to look back on this whole journey. But what happened next was the biggest surprise of all. The reflection didn't just wrap things up. It led to a completely new, totally powerful discovery. And this is such a critical point. The destination wasn't the goal of the journey. After all that exploring and mapping and building, the real treasure was something that nobody could have possibly predicted at the start. It was a genuine aha moment of discovery. And here it is, the treasure, the concept of theory as enterprise. Now, this is a pretty radical shift in thinking. It says we should stop seeing a theory as some finished, dusty thing on a shelf.
Instead, we should see it as a living, breathing project, an enterprise that you manage and grow and develop over time, just like you would a business.
And here is how it all comes together in the end. This is the final framework, the ultimate map that pulls the entire 6-year quest into one coherent model. You can see how strategy, narrative, curation, and design all work together to support this living theory as enterprise. It's the grand synthesis of the whole adventure. So why does all this matter for you? Well, because this whole intellectual quest gives us a really powerful and practical model that any of us can use for our own long-term projects and creative ambitions. This isn't just a cool story, it's a toolkit. So that final framework really boils down to 5 key jobs you have to do to manage your own knowledge enterprise. You need a strategy to give you direction, a narrative to tell its story, curation to organize all the moving parts, design to give it form, and support systems to keep the whole thing running. These are like the 5 pillars for any major creative project you take on. And this brings us to such a powerful thought from one of our guides, Howard Gruber. He basically says, look, the creative world is a messy, complex web. There's no fixed center. But the creator, the person doing the exploring, is always at the center of their own experience. You are the one who gives it all meaning and direction. So that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. What creative journey are you on right now? Could be something huge, could be something small, and if you had to sit down and draw a map of it today, you're thinking, you're doing, and you're making, what would that map even look like?